Listen, you're being held back by a fear that you don't even recognize is running things in your field. The fear of being misunderstood. Oh, it's something that people do not talk about. It is not something that people are, everyone knows about the fear of failure. People understand the fear of success. People understand the concept of people pleasing. People understand that people fear being seen, that people fear being heard, that people fear stepping fully into their power. But the fear of being misunderstood is one of those weird ones that people aren't really acknowledging, addressing, discussing, and accepting is actually running them. And it took me many years to fully wrap my head around this particular fear because it is so deep and it's holding you back. So, the fear of being misunderstood, what is it? You fear people misunderstand you. Why do we fear people misunderstanding us? Surely it's like, I'm me, you're you get it or you don't. See you later, sayonara. But the fear of being misunderstood is a fear of not being accepted. It's underlying it is a fear of being rejected and thrown out by the tribe, which, as we know, is purely evolutionary. Nothing happens to your survival when people don't like you. I'm gonna say that one more time, gang. Nothing happens to your survival when people don't like you. Maybe in the past, when we were like hunter-gatherer tribes, if you didn't conform to the tribe and were accepted by the tribe, if the tribe rejected you or banished you, you might be walking alone and there's lions, tigers, and bears, you feel me? We don't live in that society anymore. Everyone on the planet can reject you and nothing actually happens to you. Do you understand that? You can go about your day doing everything you wanted to do. Nothing happens to your ability to survive when people don't like you. So we understand that and we can park that. So underlying the fear of being misunderstood is a fear of being rejected, okay? Why would people reject us for misunderstanding us? Because the part that they do not understand is the part that they don't like, and therefore the potential to reject, the potential to banish, which is obscene, right? But we are run on these tribal fears, even thinking about this idea of being banished by the tribe, like, okay then, let me order an Uber and go somewhere else. It's a joke. But yet, the mind is still running on evolutionary programs, so we must understand that. And at the same time, understand that they are illogical, irrelevant, unnecessary, and inapplicable to your life today in 2026. We fear being misunderstood. We fear that if we act a certain way, then people will assume that we are not other things as well. For example, we are multifaceted beings, okay? People like putting you in a box because they want to know that there is a certainty that they can rely on when it comes to you. Why? For purely selfish reasons, that it's convenient for them to be able to put you in their mental pigeonhole. That you are still the version of them that they knew from 10, 20 years ago, that you are all the things in that checklist of that pigeonhole in that box in the corner over there. So when you understand it that way, that it's a selfish, constraining, organizational thing that people like to do, project onto other people, then you have to understand how ludicrous it is that we allow these fears to run our life. As I said, we are multifaceted beings. we barely understand ourselves. Think about it. Aren't you learning and becoming aware of new things about yourself every day? And therefore, someone else's potential or capacity to understand the full extent of you is limited to the point of potentially impossible. Human beings are so much more complex than we like to think. Because I think there's this idea that if we understood the depth of our own complexity, then we would understand all the ways in which we are holding ourselves back and not reaching our full potential, and therefore income's feeling inadequate, income's feeling like we're failing, income's feeling like we're not reaching our potential. So we like to avoid understanding the extent of the depth and layers and complexity of ourselves. But yet we are so deeply multifaceted. You do not need to be understood by anyone except yourself. There is your power. Therein lies your power to fully understand and accept all the layers and facets of you. And to even think that someone else can even understand you is itself an illusion. That doesn't mean we don't have the potential for deep connection, intimacy, depth. But it must come from a deep knowing that we are constantly in a process of unraveling and understanding and evolving and growing into a deep awareness of ourselves and others. We can never fully and truly understand ourselves or each other. People pleasing. We want people to think that we're nice and that we're good. But there is so much value in all the things that you are. And conflating nice and good is so deeply troubling and incorrect. For example, I could come on here all smiles and telling you that you're amazing, life is amazing, everything's great. But if I come here and be fucking real and give you the truth, the tough love that I know will crack through your psyche and your system in order to help you break the patterns that are holding you back, that's truth. That is love. It may not appear nice, but it is pure because it has impact. Stop trying to be the nice guy. Stop trying to be the one that doesn't mind what we do as long as everyone's happy, the one who puts their needs last, the one who is easygoing. Oh! People don't like thinking that you have changed. They always want to hold you to the standard of the version of you that they once knew, because to believe that you have changed and evolved is to admit that they have not. And if you allow fear of being misunderstood to hold you back to the version of you that you once were, you can never grow, you can never achieve, you can never succeed, you can never thrive. Because we are organic beings. We are not 2D pieces of cardboard. You get to decide every single day who you are, what you want, where you're going. And it can change. So if you fear being misunderstood by friends and family, you block yourself from being able to grow and evolve. Especially if that growing and evolving is moving away from being the easygoing, people-pleasing nice guy into being the driven, determined, disciplined, self-focused, self-validating version of you who can go after and achieve the things that you want in your soul, your calling, your purpose. Any form of change and growth and evolution in you will cause people to believe that they understand you less. And you have to allow that process to occur. You must allow people to be confused by you, to believe that you've somehow changed, to dislike it. People will never like your change. They will never like your growth. Not because they're bad people, but because they feel like the version of you that they once knew is dead, and they don't like that. It leaves a hole in them, which really is just a reflection of the hole in their own inadequacy at the fact that your change is mirroring their lack of growth. So do it for you. Allow yourself to evolve and morph and change into any version of you that feels correct in the moment, regardless of who won't understand it, regardless of who won't like it. Let them misunderstand you. Let them be confused. Let yourself be a mystery. Let yourself be one version of you to your clients, another version of you to your partner, another version of you to children, another version of you to certain friends. You don't owe anyone anything aside from what feels authentically correct to you in each passing moment. To believe that you must be understood is to believe that you are on trial being judged at all times. And whilst people are extremely judgmental, you must believe that you are separate from their judgment and their opinions. You're never on trial. Your only responsibility is to yourself to be authentic to you and who you are and your calling in this life and what you came here to do. So let them misunderstand the fuck out of you as you progress, change, evolve, sink deeper into self, validating self, witnessing self. Allow yourself to misunderstand yourself. Allow yourself to be a mystery, a surprise, this deep, ever-changing organism with goals, dreams, desires, hopes, fears. There are no rules to who you are and what you can achieve. So that's the message. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.